Hi, I'm Erin Salvi, Director of Education and Training for UFCW Local 832's Training Center and host of our monthly SOFA series. For the past 2 years, we've brought you helpful topics and expert speakers into your home throughout this series, and this is our final episode. To help you start some interesting conversations and to learn some critical new information, we put together some helpful tidbits from last episodes that we think will serve you well in the chilly months ahead. Before we jump into the episode, though, let's take time to honor the history of the land we work on. As long as the sun shines, the grass grows, and the river flows, UFCW Local 832 acknowledges that we are gathered and work each day on ancestral lands, the traditional territories of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene people, and on the homeland of the Métis Nation. Our offices are located on Treaty 1 and 2 territories, and our work extends into Treaties 3, 4, and 5. We recognize the injustices done to the Indigenous people of this land and are committed to supporting and collaborating with Indigenous communities in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. On that note, I want to highlight a lesson from UFCW Canada Elder Eric Flett. Eric is a former UFCW 832 member and has been an essential resource to us in developing materials for our union. He helped us create the land acknowledgement that I just shared, and he's also been an important part of the Indigenous awareness classes that we offer at our training center. Eric joined us this year to talk about the 7 sacred teachings, and one item he shared was the importance of repeating the lessons that may prove valuable to you. You feel a bit anxious this time of year.
So these 7 teachings, when you're speaking them out loud or in your mind, you're going over the 7 teachings and the animals, what they mean, what the purpose is. You're praying at the same time, but you're educating yourself, but you're praying at the same time. And what I do, like say somebody has anxieties about something. There's that thing you could use. I don't know what it's called, but it's like 4 points or 5 points, like 5. Point out 5 blue things around you. 4. Point out 4 sounds you hear, or whatever the 4.
To try to ground yourself if you're feeling anxious. Yeah.
Because then you're distracting yourself from that anxiety, right? You got to ground yourself, which even that like is huge for me. It's like the way we would say it is, you know what? You got to get back to your roots. Go back to Mother Earth, right? It's the exact same. Just we just say it differently, right? What you said, ground yourself. You got to ground yourself, right? We got to get back to Mother Earth because that's our mother, right? What happens usually, we always run to our mother because there's that love and that warmth there, right? And that protection from our mother, but Mother Earth, ground yourself, right? So I always say, I tell people, go through the 7 teachings. Well, explain them to me again. Okay, let's go. We start to help. So now there's that's what I love about the double. Somebody has anxiety, go through the 7 teachings. So they're going through it. They're being grounded, right? They're getting back to their roots, going back to Mother Earth.
They're also taking in that lesson at the same time.
They're taking in the lesson, but then they're praying at the same time. So, because that's what our people would always do, right? Pray. Not just you're about to get in a car crash and it's, oh my God, that's not praying.
Yeah. Or I have an exam tomorrow, please let me pass.
Yeah, right.
I learn something from Elder Flett every time I speak with him, and I hope his suggestion to use the teachings is helpful to some of you. Now, moving on to something that may also be helpful to you in a more hands-on way. You know how to boost your vehicle's battery if it dies. Well, Reg from MITT walked us through it, but it's always good to refresh your memory before more cold spells hit.
I have 2 ways of doing it. If we have jumper cables, so for this, say, we have a good car on this side.
Okay, so there's another car
We
that's
have
running.
2 cars. That is.
And we hook it up while it's running?
No, we're not going to run it. We're just going to keep it with the key off right now. And I'm going to put, say, the red, the positive. Now, General Motors has their battery cables on the side, or the battery posts on the side of the battery. Most cars have it at the top of the battery. So positive, if you see posts and you don't know which one it is, the positive is always thicker than the negative post. So there'd be
are they color coordinated so that you know the red goes onto the red?
And right now this is color coordinated. We have a red cable. And then when I hook that up, I go to the car, the good car that we're going to boost from, and we'll put the other red cable on that for now.
Okay, so they're both turned off.
They're both turned
You
off.
put the red
One's
one
dead.
on the car that's not working,
Yeah.
and you put the red one on the car
So
that is
I put
working.
this one on.
And then, do you do the black one?
Then I will put this negative on the boosting car.
Okay.
All right. The reason why I don't want to do it in reverse, if I spark that good battery, it may explode.
Oh, so this is just being safe. Is
I'm being safe.
red,
So
red, black,
yeah,
and then
that's right. So I have these hooked up, and then I'm going to take the black, and I'm not going to hook it to the battery. I'm going to hook it to a different ground. Now, if it sparks over here, it's away from the battery, so I don't have it explode.
Okay.
Or give me lessens the chances of having that happen.
Okay.
I've seen two explode, and it's not fun. So I'm always so careful of making sure that when we boost something, that we put the negative cable last and somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's all types of things. On the new cars, actually, under the hood, they'll have a ground circuit. It's GRD, and it's right under the hood, so you can put your negative.
And that's what it's
onto
for,
that.
is to put the black one
Yeah,
on.
so keep it away from the battery. And then they also have a red where the positive cable goes. You take cap off and you can put it on there. So you're not even close to the battery at all on some of these cars.
Okay.
Now,
so we've got the 2 on, we've got the 1 on, we're being safe with this one.
now
are we turning on the
Now
car?
we start up the car. Now we're going to start to let it run for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So this battery will charge, and then I'll check to see if it starts.
It charges without the black one attached to anything?
Oh no, we're all attached, but when it starts up, the alternator actually takes over.
Okay.
So the alternator will keep the car running, and the donor car is charging the battery, just to give it enough juice that I can pull the cable off and it'll continue to run.
Okay, so we never put that black one on
the battery. No.
ever.
No,
But we do on the good car.
on the good car.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm away from the good car when I hook it up. See, so
Okay.
but as long as we keep the cables from touching anything metal, because I've seen that too, where someone puts a positive cable on and they didn't realize it's touching a line, and you get an arc and sparks happen. So you have
Okay.
to be a little bit careful on that, but it's fairly simple.
So Leonard, let's talk about charging your battery if you're on your own.
So if you don't have booster cables and don't have a loaner car to help you out, you can buy a little portable booster pack, which you can just leave in your car or in the trunk, and this will start your car several times.
So you don't need another car, you can just do this on your own.
Exactly. So it's nice and compact. You can buy that at any local store that sells auto parts and tools, and you hook it up the same way.
So red on red.
Red on red, and if I can put it on something that is metal or ground, I'll put it on there.
And if you can't reach, is it okay to put it on the battery?
Yeah, it's okay, because then you'll be able to be hooked up here, and because the power switch is here. And once I have it hooked up, I just turn it on.
So don't turn it on until you've already hooked it up.
Exactly, you don't want to have that spark.
And then you've got it turned on. Do you go and try to turn the car on while it's...
Yeah, these ones have so much capacity at the start. The car starts just like it was warm, and it had a good battery.
How much do these cost?
The one that I have in my car now, I paid about $120, so it ranges, 150, maybe 80 if they're on sale, but they're a great thing to have.
So it's kind of expensive up front, but it saves you the money of having to get towed or to call somebody out to boost it.
Exactly, it gets you out of a jam. And if you have motorcycles or ATVs or snowmobiles, it's great for taking that on your trip also, because you don't want to be stranded. So these are really a handy tool. Like I said, you get so much energy right at the start. The engine just spin right over, just like if it had a normal battery.
And that'll work even if it's really cold and your car
Yes.
won't start?
Yep, it doesn't. It works very, very well.
Rich had a car jump starter battery that would also be a pretty good gift if you have any on your list that you haven't bought for yet. You can also use them to boost your battery without an additional vehicle around. Next up, I had the honor of sitting down with the former UFCW president, Bernard Christoph, to talk about the history of our union and some of the groundbreaking work we've done to fight discrimination.
When I first started, I remember as a produce manager at Tunnel and Broadway, there was an agreement, and the classification was two classifications, male and female. And obviously the female salary was lower. And there was obviously discrimination at the time in more ways than one, I would imagine. And I made it an issue for the whole local union to change that in time. And then we changed the wages or the classification to cashier and grocery clerk. But cashier was still mostly female. So it was not just a name that has to change, it was a salary. And eventually it was just one salary of male grocery clerk and female cashier were earning the same wages. But I took it as an issue, not because it was the right thing to do, which it was, but I took it like a health and safety issue. In other words, an issue that everybody should care about.
Bernard was UFCW 832's president for nearly 40 years. There was a tremendous amount of change during that time. Bernard also developed solid programs for members' education, like the training center, and establishing our most popular member perks, the discounted income tax filing. Each spring, we offer our members and their families discounted rates to file their taxes through accountant George, who sets up shop in locations close to our members throughout Manitoba. George joined us last year to talk about income tax, and one item he highlighted that is commonly overlooked is pension splitting.
One of the big ones that people forget, like I'm surprised that people still don't know about it, is the pension splitting. That's where the higher income spouse who receives a work pension can split that amount with the lower income spouse, and they save a whole pile of taxes. Like I've seen people save as much as $5,000–6,000 on their tax bill. And every year I still get somebody that comes in that I've never heard of that.
We'll have more information about our income tax locations and dates in the next issue of our Union magazine. To all of you watching, thank you. This is our last SOPA series episode, and we're moving into 2023 looking to evolve our members' perks into different areas. On behalf of myself and all of my colleagues here at UFCW 832, I want to thank you for all that you do, and we wish you a very safe and happy new year.